Hello, my name is Kenneth Durden, and I will be discussing about the lesson plan CO template for my instructional planning class. And I'm going to just go over a few things that should be in the lesson plan. Number one, the brief description of each component in the CO lesson plan should have student factors, and student factors are details about student academic levels and language and proficiencies and learning styles and how they will be grouped. They can be grouped by whole class, small class, pairs, and individuals. This is very essential because it meets the needs of the diverse learners and it helps teachers plan for differentiated instruction and effective classroom management. In our state, we use Georgia State standards, and this helps outline what students are expected to learn. It is essential because it provides the foundation and instructional planning and consistency for rigor across the classroom. The hook is very important. The hook is the emergent. This was going to capture the question that captures with the students to help them engage in their learning and get them to be motivated about what they learn. And the means of the representation is how the content will be presented to the students. You can use visuals, text, videos, or demonstration. This supports the varied learning styles. In my class, means of reputation is very important because I have a lot of nonverbal students, and means of representation is very important. And also in my class, the means of engagement, we do a lot of oral discussion and hands-on with my students. And it's very important for them because they feel very encourage their self-esteem when they answer oral and what they learn and what they know. And I love the means of expression. So we do mainly different things with them. Mostly just by asking a lot of oral questions with them. So we ask them a lot of questions, and we might give them a little quizzes every now and again, just a little one or two. Nothing too difficult for mine, because in my classroom we do a lot of differentiating and modifying in our classroom. And that's the next one, differentiate. It's when you adjust the content or the environment or whatever the student needs. Like we might have to restrict the environment, might make a student sit close to us to help with behavior, give extra attention to those extra time who may need it, who may also, experience some difficulty, try to encourage them. And then you also got to know who not to push, to start erratic behavior sometime. But it is very needed in my classroom. And extension activities, we usually give we give homework to provide practicing and enrichment, and we try not to frustrate our parents in my MOID class. But we usually give them something in class, like a little tracing paper or maybe a coloring sheet with the letters or whatever we went over in class, so that the student will already kind of know why we working with them to handle what they would do, not to, put too much on them, but it's very important for our extension activity. And alignment and assessment is important to our Georgia standard because the objective, the activities, and the assessments ensure that instruction is purposeful and focused, and it also prepares students for standardized tests to support student success. Now, my classroom, my MOID, this is very, very important because we have to make sure that the lesson is very purposeful and meaning to our students, because our students are interested in so many things. So we got to make sure that our lesson is geared for them. And assessment data, pretty much we use benchmarks. I'm outside, so I gotta probably delete this. I'm outside. Whew. Just trying to get more outside, and all the bugs are coming. So hopefully I don't get it up. Assessment data is planning is how to inform and identify gaps in understanding the pacing and grouping to inform how differentiating is up there. We use a lot of formative and assessments. Sometimes we use exit tickets and we may use small quizzes in our class, but mainly in my school, but we use a lot of observations and anecdotal records for my kids. But in my school mainly, we use dibbles and maps, and we also use IEP data. My students normally will not take the maps, but those that are able to will take the maps, and we will use that assessment data to gear for their instructions. Now, the examples of accommodations that we have here, we have for English groups, we have English language learners in our school, students with special needs, gifted students, and early finishers. But what I am probably will focus on, I'm gonna still mention all the rest of them, is special needs. We usually get them extended time, and we usually alternate the format, and we get them a quiet testing space, and we also use a lot of IEP supports, which is very, very important. And this also falls for the modification for our babies when they take our tests. English language learners usually use visual aids, sentence frames, bilingual dictionaries, and to differentiate that group, you will use a native speaker or use vocabulary support. And then with our babies with special needs, we do a lot of task chunking and scaffolding information for differentiation, because a lot of my babies will not be able to finish and will get frustrated very easily. So we do a lot of task chunking and a lot of verbal praise with them so we can get what we need to get done. The gifted children, you can use a compact curriculum, independent projects, and for differentiation, use high order thinking questions with them, and you have to tier their assignments because they usually finish so fast. You got to tailor it for them. In early finishers, you got to get them a lot of enrichment tasks, and you got to make them peer monitoring so they won't be bored. You got to do a lot of peer monitoring, which I see that a lot in a lot of the lower grades, general ed classes at my school, and enriched tests and peer monitoring again for modification. And you got to be creative extension and technology-based exploration. They got to get them something to do on that nice computer. All right, last but not least, technology that we use to enhance. And technology is a big thing for our students at our school. I'm gonna read through it. Technology has we use interactive whiteboards, which they're in every classroom. We use educational apps, tablets or iPads. They love iPads and tablets. That is a big thing with their Chromebooks. That is a big thing in my class. We use digital storytelling, videos, and songs. Oh, that is such a big thing in my classroom. That's such a big thing. We use a lot of videos and songs. They love Kids Bop. They love that. They love music and movement. Oftentimes we use a lot of YouTube storytelling in my class, and it's very interactive, and they enjoy that. And we use Brain Pop Junior. We use ABCY Phonics. ABCY is another good app that we use in our classroom. YouTube Kids, and we also use Class Dojo for engagement and assessment. If they're following directions, we usually give them a point. It's usually a little checklist, 1, 2, 3, nothing too big and too fancy for our babies, because we always try to, keep it short and to the point, directive, and it really goes well. They enjoy Class Dojo. I am Kenneth Durden, and I have just went through what we have explained for our students.